And what's going on, you bastards, and welcome back to another Grand Summoners video, where the point of today's video is that we are going to be talking about this One Punch Man crossover that will be coming to global here soon. It has, been announced. It is the next collab after Rurouni Kenshin and, after, Valerie. I completely forgot her name right there. So this is coming up next. So we're going to go over some details and whatnot, or what's coming with this crossover. We're getting the Dream Awakenings for the other One Punch Man characters, some true equips, and yada yada, all that fun stuff. This is going to be pretty low key. I'm just going to be talking. I might go on a little bit of a rant afterwards, man, because I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. I might, we'll see how it goes. I'm just in one of those moods to maybe complain a little bit, but I don't know. We'll talk about that here shortly once we get to there. We'll hop over to the JP side. So on the JP side, this crossover came. This was the 24th of April to May 8th. That was the runtime for the One Punch Man collab, which really isn't that long of a collab. And if you guys didn't see down yonder, the duration is unknown. So we're not even sure, right? So this actually isn't that long, and that might be okay. That probably is okay, right? Because the only Ascended character coming out with this, the only new character here is the Saitama. We get a new Ascended Saitama. They still, I don't know if anyone even talked about how Genos has a new sprite, but he doesn't have a new character because he has this blue power cell heart thingy. I don't know what it is, but nobody talked about that. But there is no other new character besides the Saitama right here. He's got a new sprite where boy is just lost, right? So we got Dream Awakenings, we got equips, and here's this guy again. This is a little refresher. I'll link my original video. I'll have it at the end show up, and then I'll put it in the description, right? So we get these Dream Awakenings also with Saitama, and this is his SP art, which does look pretty dope. This is pretty sweet. I initially thought it would have been a gangster idea, right? If they had an exchange unit, or a tag unit, right? Dokkan recently came out with tag units. Dragon Ball Legends has had tag units for a while, where it's just you have one character who has all these abilities and whatnot like that, and then you could swap out after a condition's met or something and play as an almost an entirely different character, different skill, different arts, different true arts, different super arts, right? I thought that would have been pretty dope. So this was a little misleading, but it is what it is. I don't know if Grand Summoners will ever come out with anything like that, but we'll see. And I'm not going to go over every particular buff for these characters and I'll go over the Dream Awakenings, but yeah, as you can see here, pause if you need to read this. Saitama, OG Saitama, right? They're all getting Dream Awakenings again. So he's getting arts on his skill. He's getting increase on his damage modifier and the duration of increase in his own arts. And his arts gen type is being changed. I see right here. I don't know what arts gen group he's in right now, man. I'm not gonna take time to look that up. I'm sorry. But it's changing. I don't know if he's going to be thrown in the generic crossover, or is he currently in the generic crossover pool of characters for the arts gen, or is he now going to? I don't know. I apologize. The true arts, massive increase, 80k increase right there. So if you still want to nuke the hell out of some stuff, this is going to be the character to do it, because the Ascended Saitama works slightly differently than the OG Saitama, right? And then he is getting the 5-star true equip Hero Belt. So 50 seconds CT, 10,000% light damage physical for 10 seconds, increase own physical damage and light damage by 50%, 600 break. When equipped by Saitama, increase own attack by 50%, and arts by 1 per second, does not stack, increase own physical resistance by 5%. And then his Dream Evolution Path So you have the Crimson and then you have the Luminous. I have not farmed a shit. What do you call these? Summoner's Road in a hot minute. I am slacking bad. So the Crimson Dream, passive 1, increase own damage to demons by 150%. That right there, demons is probably by far, depending on the content, gonna be what you're farming the most against. Dragons also passive too. I mean, dragons are also pretty decent. Like, think about all the bosses. They're like big dragons, a good amount of the models for the enemies. Then you have Luminous Dream. Then it's damage against gods, 150%. And then you also have beasts. Beasts, they can't be that too many beasts. And the gods, I feel like, are a little far in between. So I think Crimson would probably be his best bet. So overall, I think the Saitama Dream Awakening, it's simple, effective, and, you know, he keeps his identity, right? Where it's just like, I'm going to annihilate what's in front of me, you know? And he gets arts gen. Like that's damage and arts gen. What more do you really want from a nuking character, you know? And a true equip. I mean, if you're nuking, it might not. Maybe. You might use it for nuking. Who knows? Then you have Genos. Again, I'm not like, Genos is still, I don't know, kind of whatever. He is like ass tier, giga ass tier. Has been giga ass tier for a really he's a free-to-play character, 53,000%. Like, and that's what's crazy. I don't know why. I don't know why it's just like, you know, a One Punch Man, One Punch Man came back on Global a little while ago. I don't know, a few months at this point. I kind of forget when. And, you know, nobody saw One Punch Man for like a long time, like years. It's been years. And then, you know, they make this grand reemergence of, you know, One Punch Man's back, guys. Woo! Like, and it's just like, oh, Genos, you know, our free-to-play character. Let's take him for 30,000%. Let's make him 53,000%. So he could be actual dog shit to a slightly smaller pile of dog shit. But like, this character is still really not going to be usable. That drawn me the most. This right here, up 7k damage, increase on arts by 10 instead of 5. Like, he can inflict burn. There really isn't any reason to farm this, except if you're like farming, like luck farming and stuff like that. Because all of these characters I'm talking about, we're gonna get into it, but they're gonna be luck 140, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I think they're already luck 120s, right? Yeah, so luck 140s. So it's just like, all right, his Dream Evolution pass, Luminous, increase own crit damage by 30%. Definitely very viable if his damage was an ass. Increase own status ailment resistance by 50%. Be pretty viable if he wouldn't be a detriment to being ran on your team, you know? Spectral, increase own damage against burning enemies by 70%. He can inflict burns. He has a 90% chance instead of high. They actually quantified it, and that's for 8 seconds. So kind of a small window there. You know, you got to hit your arts, you got to burn something. And then if you want to hit them with your overwhelmingly powerful true arts, yeah, you know, you got to fit it in there. I don't even know if like you could really utilize this, honestly. And then skill CT by 50% for himself. Okay. The skill, you know, he can increase his own arts or something like that. I don't know. I think maybe Luminous, but I'm not even gonna waste the material to do this because he's still booty. Sorry, I'm being a little negative. I do apologize. I guess free to play characters want to get a true weapon. Funny that I mentioned true weapons, right? Because every other character, like we have TT down here, we have Speed of Sound Sonic right here. We have Fubuki right here. You guys notice anything? Oh, yeah, let's see Boros. Boros, you got any? No. So the other free-to-play character, yeah, they, whatever. For Garou, for whatever reason, Garou doesn't have a true equip. I don't see if they would have limitations for the amount of true equips they could come out with. I mean, like somebody made a comment. It was pretty funny that, like, you know, the true weapon for a character, it was in the last video I talked about it. They're like, what do you want him to have as a true weapon? True Garou's hands? I was like, okay, asshole, like that's pretty funny, but like, come on, we get people's outfits for Christ's sakes. It could be his belt, like we have Saitama's belt, like I like it's funny, but fuck you. It was fun. But all right, so Garou, let's see, increase on arts by 15. He's just straight up getting that. Adds more damage to the arts. Reduce enemies evasion by a way higher number, 70% instead of 30, and then increase accuracy up to 70%, to 70% from 50%. And then True Arts, 100,000%. Now, I'm not expecting a free-to-play character to get that, but doubling that, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Not Saitama numbers, that's half of Saitama numbers, but Saitama's known for being that guy, to annihilate things. But yeah, permanently increase on arts damage by 100% up to 500%. So thematically, this does really make sense with Garou, because the more he fights, the more, he comes into his own and he's the big bad monster guy. So good. He can hit really hard once he gets, all built up. And then we have gradually increase attack and defense for the first 60 seconds of the quest. Oh, is this guy going to be hitting like insanely hard too? So he's thematically makes sense. Saitama just can just annihilate things, He doesn't get like stronger or weaker or anything like that, whatever. He just annihilates stuff. This guy, fighting more and more, blah, blah, blah. If you never saw One Punch Man. So is this like a multiplicative buff? Because you got this, and then you got his True Arts. Like, I think this guy could get up to pretty crazy numbers. Again, I don't really keep up on the JP side. If like the community was talking about him or something like that. I don't have a JP account, so I don't know. So I wonder if he hits actually like really crazily. All right, then his Dream Evolution Pass. Imagine if he had a True Weapon. Maybe he'd be too busted with the True Weapon. That's why they didn't. Increase on status ailment resist by 100%. Increase on arts by 5 per second when near death. Spectral Dream. Increase on damage against enemies under 30% by 150%. Increase on arts by 200% at the start of the quest. Does not stack. I think Spectral could be really good. I mean, this is possibly niche. This would be really good, but increase on damage against. It could be good for finishing off enemies. And by this point, you probably have built up your damage by then. So this could be like a decent way to just like finish the fight, right? And then you have this that could jumpstart the process. You get 200 arts at the start of the quest. Like you can start the process. So I think Garou is actually really good. I never used this asshole because when I was summoning originally for Saitama, when this came out way back yonder year, I kept getting this dickhead instead of Saitama. And Saitama was the first crossover character I was unable to obtain, and it was all downhill from there. Man, this video is already probably longer than I wanted it to be. That's crazy. I'm sorry. It's going to be a talking video. Like, I feel like the views would do better if it was just a quick rundown, but I don't know. Like, there's not a lot of GS content out there. And me, like, when I watch Dokkan or Legends and stuff like that, I kind of just have it in the background while I play that game or do some other things. So I don't know. There isn't any long form, quote unquote, content for Grand Summoner. So if you guys just want this thrown in the background, put it in the background, man. Play it with all the ads. Don't skip. Watch the whole ad. All that. All right. So now we got Terrible Tornado. We got TT. So our arts damage goes up. The magic resistance reduction goes up. True Arts goes up to 70,000% from 32,000. So you could say that some of these buffs, so far with Genos, right? Genos, he's free to play, so I guess he's not really in that discussion. Up to 200,000%. Higher than some ascended characters, by the way. Then you got Garou going up to 100,000%, but he has a lot of extra going on for him. And then you go from 32 to 70,000%. She is a breaker. The break numbers have gone up on her too. So I don't know. That right there already feels maybe a little light. But anyway, we'll continue on. All right. So the buff for 15 seconds, increase all allies' break power by 100%. Okay, so that'd be pretty good. I mean, breakers aren't really known, at least in this game, right, to do the most amount of damage. So I guess that still kind of makes sense. Increase damage by 200% when enemies are in break. All right, so once you reach the break, then you can do pretty respectable damage, it looks. All right, then we got our true weapon. Oh, by the way, all these characters, the summonable, right? We'll double check with Genos. Oh no, oh yeah. So never mind, even the free to play. Their main equip, like their 5-star equip, like, you know, yeah, this one right here. Because TT had all, like, she had a 5-star, 5-star, and a 4-star magic slot. Now it's 6, 5, and 4. So all the characters, you know, with the Dream Awakening, they're getting the 6-star. So with her true Esper dress. So again, like, you know, oh, what do you want? Like true Garou's hands? Fuck. That comment stuck with me, man. This is like, it's a dress. Yeah, you gotta have true Garou's sneakers, man. Like flip flops, whatever like. There's literally flip flops in the game. Okay, anyways, so like I'm not that upset about that comment, but it was just like kind of silly. Anyways, I'm sorry. 65-second CT, 6,000% Earth damage. Magic for 8 seconds, reduce enemies' Earth resistance by 30%, 6,000 break. When equipped by TT, increase own break power by 30% and arts by 2 per second, does not stack. Increase damage against enemies in break by 10%. So it'll be 210%, I guess. I don't know, or I don't know if it works like that. I don't know if it's additive or it's multiplicative. If it's multiplicative, it's a different story, you know. I don't know the gacha games maths going on, man. I don't, you know, I'm not that deep, man, you know. So we got the Verdant Dream Awakening with only one passive, increase on break power against water enemies by 120%. If you did pick this, I mean, she would definitely be the character. You know, if you're trying to break water enemies, this would probably be the best character to do that, like possibly in the entire game, you know. But team composition wise, you know, you got to think about like top tier breaker, you know, like Fate Chloe, right? One of the best breakers in the game. We also have like an Ascended Platina that we don't have on global yet. But yeah, I think overall, like, you know, that Chloe does do a good amount for the team also. So it's like once you're done breaking the boss, it's almost like TT, she doesn't provide a whole lot for the team, and like characters like Chloe, or even I think the Platina, she does a good bit for the team as well. But yeah, once you break, it's kind of just like you know, just, you know, anyway, that whatever. Luminous. Passive 1, increase allies max HP by 10%, does not stack. Increase Earth allies arts by 2 per second. Okay, so I was literally just talking about that. And then she has a Dream Awakening where it kind of helps out the team. So I know, my bad. I didn't read. I didn't read through these when these initially came out. What was this? April? Yeah, in April. Yeah, 4/21, whatever. So okay. TT overall looking pretty strong too. Probably be the best breaker in the game against water enemies. So now we have Speed of Sound Sonic, right? So increase on the arts damage, and then increases arts per second and the duration of his own evasion. So this says physical evasion. I don't think I've seen that before. I thought evasion is evasion. Does physical and magic have its own evasion rate? That can't be it, right? Maybe I'm looking too deep into that. I don't know. You let me know in the comments down below. If there's anything that I didn't elaborate on enough, or you got questions on, please just put a comment and I'll try my best to answer that. And then his true arts went up from 40,000 to 65,000 for 20 seconds. Increase own evasion by 30%. Right. So own evasion. Then you see own physical evasion. Interesting. And then critical rate by 200%. That's really good because some bosses do have like crit resistance, right? Even though like even their gimmick isn't they have crit resistance. All like bosses, well, not all bosses, but a lot of the bosses do have their innate crit resistance, right? Wouldn't be much of a boss if you can just crit them to death and they just explode, right? So 200% will probably be definitely more than enough. You'd think 100% would be enough, but again, when you factor in that resistance, you know, could be a bit less. Passive, increase equipment CT speed by 20%. Increase own damage and own quit rate. Okay, so, you know, using his equipment, right? And his slots, he has now a 6-star physical, 5-star defense, 4-star support. So definitely not bad. Pretty good slots, actually. All right, then he's got True Sonic's Katana. 25 seconds, 5,000% dark damage physical. For 15 seconds, reduce enemies' physical resistance by 15%. Stackable, low CT. He lowers the CT, so you can kind of see what's going on there. But this is for 15 seconds. So I don't know with this, like, let's see, I'll try to do the math. So that's 5 seconds, right? 20% of, yeah, because 5 times 5 is 25. So that reduce it by 5 seconds. So I don't know if you can really utilize the stackability with this, right? Because if it goes down by 5 seconds thanks to this, and unless you have other characters that lower, you know, equipment CT, I don't know if you can. I don't know why I'm reading so much into these character skits. That's what's going to make this video entirely too long. Again, I apologize. If you actually prefer longer videos that break down like this, I don't know, let me know. Maybe every so often I'll do this. All right, so additionally, if the user is dark, increase own arts by 10. When equipped by Sonic, increase own damage by 30% and arts 2 per second. Does not stack. Increase own attack by 5%. All right, then we have the Aqueous and Spectral. So the Aqueous passive, first one, increase all allies' physical damage by 50%. Does not stack. I mean, that's okay. You'd run great on the physical team. Increase own arts by 200% to start a quest. Does not stack. So, you know, he can immediately start, you know, doing a good amount of damage, increasing the critical rate. His own evasion, like right out the get-go. Okay, so Aqueous does seem pretty good. Spectral, increase own crit damage by 80%. So up here is this critical rate, and then you have critical damage. Okay, so those can, you know, kind of work well together. And then Spectral, increase dark allies arts by 2 per second. Does not stack. Is Sonic considered, like, was he runnable with nuking comps? Like, right, if you're increasing, I don't know if Sonic himself could really nuke. He has a lot of crits, but I don't know. I think some of the late game bosses might be a little too strong for him, especially with these, like, you know, weak ass 65,000% multiplier and whatnot. I mean, you get this critical rate, and then you can get this own, you know, this critical damage. I don't know. Both of these are actually like really good. Unlike other ones, I mean, it's kind of hard to see a clear, better dream awakening, I guess. But be for whatever type of content you're taking them in with. You know, I know that's very generic, but yeah. All right, so now we're moving to Hellish Blizzard or Fubuki. Right, so her arts damage increase, 80% chance to inflict faint for a longer duration now, and then 20 seconds instead of 10, increase allies' BE output by 100%. All right, so True Arts went from 30,000% to 65,000% water damage magic. 20 seconds increase allies' magic damage by 200%, up from 120, and reduce enemies' magic resistance by 30%, 4,000 breaks. So that was all. This part was included. Like the stuff that's in the bold white text, it might be a little hard if you're just watching this video, is stuff that's added, right? So the slash through it, that's changed. And, you know, the white is the added stuff. Passive, increase arts by 3 per second now instead of 2 per second. And increase damage to fire enemies by 100%, which, I mean, you know, kind of niche, kind of whatever, like not super crazy, I feel like. Then we had, you know, her slots, 6 magic, 5 magic, 4 support. And then we have her true equip, True Hellish Blizzard's Dress. So 60 second CT, 6,000 water percent damage magic. For 8 seconds, reduce enemies' water resistance by 30%. Additionally, if user is human, for 8 seconds, reduce enemies' magic resistance by 30%. When equipped by Hellish Blizzard, increase own damage by 30%, arts 2 per second. Does not stack. Increase own defense by 5%. I mean, this doesn't really feed into anything that she does, you know? I feel like that's kind of like And other passives like equipment CT, yeah, that could work well with his, katana, whatever. What does TT have for passive? Magic resistance. I mean, she does magic damage and she breaks enemies, and when they're in break, she could do more damage. Well, I'm kind of looking at the wrong thing. That was 52 equips. Oh man, I'm tired, guys. I'm sorry. Increase own attack by 5%. That's what I was trying to think of. Attack by 5%, damage, for enemies in break by 10%. Like, that's what this character does. That character will actually utilize this. And who's this? Yeah, Garou, right? Never mind, he doesn't have a true equip. I forgot. Oh man, look how they massacred my boy, man. He wasn't my boy. I hated that guy actually. Let's see. Oh yeah, physical resistance, which I don't know. You can kind of argue Saitama doesn't feed into Saitama anyway, really. But he just like murders things, so he doesn't really need it. You don't need defense when you can just one-shot everything, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like for Fubuki, like this 5% defense, this doesn't do anything really. But I mean, besides keep her alive, help keep her alive, take less damage, I guess. Which I don't know. I don't know. I'm nitpicking some things and just letting other things slide. I don't know. I'm in a weird mood, I guess I'll say. So let's look at our dream evolution. Aqueous. Increase own break power against fire enemies by 100%, and then increase allies' fire resistance by 20%. Does not stack. So definitely, if you go with the Aqueous, with your little water character here, definitely be pretty good against fire characters, right? Because she, does extra damage to fire characters, blah, blah, blah. And she could reduce enemies' magic resistance. So if you're running like a water magic comp, does that really exist? You have Summer Ilya. Nobody really uses Summer Juno. I mean, you have Summer what's that little shit? Liza. Yeah, I don't know if anyone's running like mono water magic. Like saying if you're trying to take full advantage of that, what Fubuki does. And possibly unrealistic team, but I don't know. Joker Celia, you have Summer Juno. You have Amelia, I don't know. But then you have the Verdant Dream, Dream Awakening. Increase human allies' arts 2 per second. Could be really good. Increase allies' magic damage by 40%. Could be really good also. And we know humans aren't going to fall off in GS anytime soon. But yeah, it does not stack. Okay. I mean, I feel like Fubuki's a little underwhelming, even compared not compared to Genos, but compared to original Saitama, compared to Garou, even compared to TT. I think, yeah, even compared to Sonic, I think Fubuki would be the worst besides the free to plays. I don't know if I was to kind of go through. I mean, I think I'd have this Saitama as number 1. Then you'd have Garou, then Sonic, and then TT, then Fubuki. I feel like if you're like number them 1 through 5 for the Ascended, wait, is there actually 1, 2, 3, 4? Okay, there is 5. I can count. For the 5 summonable characters, yeah, I think Fubuki's actually the worst. That's unfortunate. So then we got Boros. I don't think like even Boros, like they're not giving these free to play a lot. Like these numbers right here aren't, I think these aren't changed from the first time this motherfucker came out. And I don't even know when that was originally. I started playing in 2020 or 2021. Let me double check. Okay. So I just looked. One Punch Man. I started at least 2020. I think I started the Shield Hero collab 2020. I can look for it. But this is the first time for me that this One Punch Man crossover came out. And I'm pretty sure it came out a time before this. So the numbers on Genos looks like they're not even changed from the first time Boros, from the first time he came out, man. Let me look up Shield. Did I spell the I after E except after C's thing, like always messing me up. Yeah. May 14, 2020. New player luck. This is when I Like I was playing GS for a little bit before this, like maybe a few weeks, and I was already doing Dokkan videos at the time. I'm just like, let me try this. This video started my GS YouTube career, I guess you could say. But look at these numbers, like 66%. And there's like, you know what? We're going to do Boros a solid. We're going to bump this up. We haven't touched these numbers in years. Let's bump this up. Let's make this dude insane. 2,444%. Why they're going with these? Is there a thematic thing that I'm missing where with these 4s and these repeating 6s? Is there? I don't know. So it looks like he consumes his own HP, does some stupid shit in break, like not really. Break power against enemies not in break. Oh, dear Lord. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I mean, true. I mean, characters are, depending on the boss, characters are more often not broken than they're broken, right? So actually, all right, hype. But then you got these stupid Dream Awakenings because he saps his own HP and then you give yourself buffs with that shit. Like, I mean, awesome. Increase own damage against humans for the Spectral. This was Verdant, by the way. With Boros, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. He's not anything. He's I hate to be negative about it, but like, why even announce this? Why? It's almost just like, you know, people would ask, right? If they didn't buff Boros or Genos, people would be like, what the hell? Why didn't they touch these characters? But now I feel like because they did, and it's so subpar, it's actually almost worse, right? Just think about it. It's a unit in Dokkan that has fallen off, but their time for EZA is coming soon, right? You're just like, all right, this unit, I love using this unit. This unit was awesome. I'm excited for the EZA. Hopefully they could be relevant again and I can slap them back on my team and see, you know, use the character again. But then the EZA comes out and the EZA's ass. Like they do almost nothing to the character. And it's like actually kind of worse because now you have to wait for that character's super EZA to possibly have a chance that it's good again. So it's almost to that point. Instead of having a subpar EZA, maybe it would have been better if they just didn't touch the character and they were shelved for a couple months longer or something like that, right? So it's almost just like, well, I mean, GS doesn't work the same way, right? Because Dokkan doesn't just push out like number buffs the characters on the regular or stuff like that, or like, you know, the way GS does with returning characters and stuff like that. That's something that I think is really cool about GS is that they aren't scared to really change the numbers like that. Like, I don't know, because you can't, I don't know. There's like bugs that could be addressed that like for new characters or something like that. You think about, I don't know, something like Genshin or one of those other weeby ass gacha games or something like solo leveling, right? There's a character not working as intended. And then possibly the character was dishing out more damage than they were supposed to be, right? So then they do the bug fix, which indirectly, well, kind of directly nerfs the character, right? Or is that indirectly? I don't know. Anyway, so they can't just go and just like, damn, this character is performing way better than we thought this character was gonna, like, like people aren't gonna summon anymore for the characters in the near future because this character's overperforming. Let's nerf that character. I think there's like laws with gachas that prohibit like the, you know, the developers, publishers, whatever shit from doing that. I really don't remember where I was going with this tangent. LP is off his rocker today, guys. Jesus. And I don't want to stop the video because I've been recording for 37 minutes already. Stop it. Rewatch what the point was before that. I don't remember what point I was trying to make. But I do like that GS does buff characters. But when you buff these characters so insignificantly, right? Well, the 66,000% is pretty close to... it's more than Fubuki. And it's almost as much as Speed of Sound Sonic. Wait, no, it's more than Speed of Sound Sonic, too. So at least we can say with Boros, like his at least initial damage modifiers is respectable. Genos, poop. It's still poop. I think even some of the like awoken characters here, the summonable characters, their numbers are kind of poop. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like Dream Awakenings, and that was something I've been thinking about lately. I think Dream Awakenings don't impact the game like at all. They do not impact the game at all. What? Okay, well, pause. For people who have really established accounts and who kind of whale out or summon for a lot of characters and everything, right? Which maybe Dream Awakenings, that wasn't the intention. That wasn't the target audience for, the Dream Awakenings. This is for like, well, I had these characters. I don't summon a lot, but these are the ones I have. I could buff them a little bit further. But me personally, like the characters who have Dream Awakenings available, I really don't even use unless they're niche for a fight, right? So, and there's some characters who are just like borderline essential for some random fights out there. So that's when I'm just like, okay, I'll Dream Awaken them, make them a little better at what they do. They're a little gimmick, right? But overall, yeah, I feel like Dream Awaken, that's a whole other rant or something like that, man. I don't know. I'm in a ranty mood, I guess. But anyways, so that's it. Like, again, I'm not going over Boros, man, because like it was almost a mistake to go over Genos, like as much as I did. And I'm delaying it more because like they made these characters who I would say Boros, pretty cool One Punch Man character. Genos, probably one of the favorite characters in the whole freaking series, man. But the first off, big mistake, making this motherfucker free to play, right? Because people would have went crazy summoning for Genos. It's like, the only other worse character to make a free to play out of this collab would have been Saitama. Like, Saitama, probably, well, I don't know. Some people, I mean, Genos might be more like them, Saitama. Who knows? I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's weird that some of these games just like, man, we got a crowd favorite right here. Let's make him suck. And you know what? Let's continue to make him suck. Let's bump up his numbers, but he still sucks, And Boros, it was a beautifully animated fight with Boros, man. That's like the first fight in One Punch Man that lasted more than 10 seconds, So it's like, I don't know. I feel like they dropped the ball with this one. I always felt like that, You know what's crazy? I've been recording this for 41 minutes and I haven't even gotten to the Ascended character. Holy shit. All right, guys, we're gonna have to keep going. All right, so obtain a One Punch Man collab character for free. So you include one of the 5 OG characters for summonable, right? So you have Fubuki, TT, Saitama, OG Saitama, Speed of Sound Sonic, and Garou. So that's a great pickup. Hopefully they don't dick Global over with this because, again, this is all we have for the information, right? That's it. So we don't know. The One Punch Man True Weapon collab tickets, these might not even exist. The chances are pretty good that they would, but they might not. But then you have more collab equips, right? You got these plushies and whatnot. Again, like, well, here's Garou's True Weapon. Like, I don't know. So is there no Fubuki one? Fumo. Stickers. I don't know if this is happening at the same time. This is other unrelated stuff. So possibly we can expect the logins. Damn, they make this small enough to look the same. And then okay, I guess they updated that stuff up top. Okay. So here we got their true weapons and whatnot. Who's not here? Garou. Then you have, the Fire Bowl is Genos. So not only did they make Genos himself free to play, but they made his plushie free to play as well. And then we have Hero Saitama. 43 minutes into the video, I'm finally talking about Hero Saitama. So we'll go over what he do, right? So he has a 6-star physical, 5-star defense, 5-star physical or defense if he's LB7. So pretty good slots. Skill. 14 seconds CT, 3000% light damage physical. Increase own arts by 10. From the second use of skill onwards, each time skill is used, increase own arts by an additional 10. Max 300. So this, like, I don't know. So you think, all right, new age Saitama. He's going to be like old Saitama, but better. He's going to one-shot everything. And you know what? Like OG Saitama didn't really do, and depending on the circumstances, he didn't arts at all. Like, he didn't build up at all. He just punched. And usually the enemy was dead. This is just like, all right, man, hey, you want to really invest in the skill right here? I don't know. That's gonna take some time though. It's gonna take some time. Hey. But anyway, sorry. Arts, 25,000% light damage physical for 20 seconds. Reduce enemies' break resistance and physical resistance by 30%. All right, does not stack, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, yeah, that's pretty good. You know, break resistance, physical resistance. Definitely very good for Saitama. True Arts, 60,000% in light damage physical. For 25 seconds, allies gain a damage barrier, which is out of left field, right? Out of left field for a Saitama character. But nice. 8,000% or 8,000 is a little low, but it's something itself. And increase allies' damage resistance by 30%. So you get a barrier and then you get damage resistance. Damage resistance, not physical, not magic, damage resistance. So that's a good combo to have. Super Arts, 300,000% light damage physical. Ignore enemies' defense by 100% for the duration of the Super Arts. So that could be really strong. Ignoring defense, which as time goes on is becoming more and more. Well, they're releasing characters who have more and more of this ignore defense, right? They said on a live stream one time that ignoring defense is going to become more important coming up on the future, right? But unless it's for the chapter bosses, because I haven't completed the whole story. I saved that from when I'm farming and stuff like that, when I'm desperate for crystals, right? So besides these chapter bosses, they really haven't been coming out with any new content or fights that I can think of, like, to utilize this in, right? If the chapter bosses require it, yeah, okay, that's my bad. I don't really know. But me, in my experience with playing right now, is like, do we really need defense ignore? It definitely helps. Like, it doesn't hurt. But it's just like, they stress the importance on this. But is this like, are we even utilizing it? Or is it like, were they saying, oh yeah, in 2 years time or 3 years time, 5 years time, yeah, this is going to be really good for, you know, to have. I don't know. So with this, big damage. That's what you expect from Saitama. Big damage. So I don't know, you can slap your arts down, get that physical resistance, whatever going on, and then boom, you hit with that. Or if you play in a more supporty role with Saitama, which, you know, is weird to think about, but it's a good addition, I guess. And plus, you know, you can have 2 defense equipped. So it's weird to think about. You can also play like Saitama, Hero Saitama as a, you know, your tank, your like defensive character, you know, kind of interesting to think about, but it can still happen. So abilities at the start of battle, when boss is present, increase own arts by 100%, does not stack. Increase own damage by 3% times own attack divided by 100. Increase own status ailment resistance by 100%. So pretty good right there. I'll keep him from getting possibly, you know, interrupted, and say if he's super rotting or something like that. But his animations are really quick, so it'd be kind of crazy if he did get interrupted by that, right? And then he has his true hero gloves. 50-second CT, 10,000% light damage physical. For 10 seconds, increase own damage by 50%. Be very big for him. Adding any sort of offense for this character will definitely be great. Additionally, if user is light, increase own attack by 50%. Awesome. Even better. When equipped by Hero Saitama, increase own stats by 30%. You know what that includes? That includes attack. So even better. Even more damage. And accuracy, what's the point of punching really hard if you miss? You know, 10% a little low, but it do help. You know, some people be putting mid AF. People be putting Ken shit. Like he's a, I don't know, like, are they saying he's a worse version of Kenshin? That was something else I was gonna think about talking about, like what other light characters this guy could be, or what other characters like that could be good with Saitama. I'm not like a crazy, like, I don't know. I still feel like decently new to the game. I know a bit, but I don't feel like I would be comfortable telling people team comps of what to build and shit like that, because I'm still figuring stuff out. Like, kind of like every time I stream the game, I do find out more information from y'all. So, like, I don't know. I was just like, Saitama, light characters are insanely strong. They're in a good spot right now. You know, these are just the ascended characters, but you know, you got Human Pinnacle Imp, you got Hazuki still, you have Misette, which I kind of like Misette. Misette she has a good bit of tech on her. You know, here's the ascended Platina I was talking about. We don't have this guy yet, Orville, the new Orville, the ascended Orville. We just recently got Young Emperor. Then, you know, you have good favorites like Narwhal. You have Summer Chloe, Kenshin. Then here's Hero Set Down. And then we got Misaka. So Mono Light is in a pretty good spot, right? And you can kind of see right here that Light, I don't know all these champions kits to heart, right? But I don't think a lot of these characters have defensive mechanics, right? Besides giving, like defense or like damage resist or something like that for allies, whatever. I don't know. Is Saitama the only character on Light that gives a barrier? That might be. So yeah, Light is looking pretty good. And that's not even including like, you know, with Saitama, what's really good by Saitama, no restrictions. He has no restrictions. He is not worried about who he's really ran with. He can kind of just do whatever he wants with whatever team he's on, which is definitely a bonus. You know, some characters have the multipliers with, you know, what character are on their team. Like, oh, it's 80,000% extra damage per light character that's on the team. You know, max is, 320,000% or something like that. But, yeah, I mean, Light is in a really good spot. I guess I'll talk about the other collab. Yeah, the equips right there. Blah, blah, blah. Don't really care about that. Okay, then this was like the Dream Awakening for like the, what the hell is that? Phantom Sniper or Phantom Bullet. Jesus Christ, man. I'm all over the place right now. And I know I ranted a lot throughout this whole goddamn video. That's not even like me nitpicking these characters or whatever wasn't even what I was going to rant about. It's just like, I know this is a gotcha, right? I'm going to soften it, right? I'm not going to go super crazy on it. It's just like, man, I feel like with some of these releases coming out, it's been a little unrelenting, right? With some of the summons, right? So let's go back a little bit, right? Let's say beginning of the new year. Why not? This video is already insanely long. Let's just keep it going, baby. How did we start off the new year? And I'm talking on the global side, right? Okay, so at the end of the year, right, we had this, which I did a good amount of summons on this one. You know, we had Roy, right at the end of last year. Roy, awesome pickup. A lot of people were very excited. I think Roy's summoning video was my most viewed video on my channel. Lamau JK, it's at number 3. It's number 3. It's sitting really pretty, but this ReZero one, this came out December 11th, 2020. It finally got surpassed by the J video when J came out initially over a year ago, December 31st, 2023, on that shitter ass All-Star banner. That kind of Roy came out on the kind of the same slot a year later. So, I mean, there's a little bit of a correlation right there. You know, that's big. That's peak, GS content time. So we started off with a really good release right there, right? You know, Roy and all that. Then we had Shangri-La, which for me personally, I already had Sunraku. Wait, I only had Sunraku. I only have Sunraku from this fucking crossover. I just remembered that. I just remember that. I only had Sunraku from this. Arguably the best character to get from it, and I love Sunraku. He's insanely strong. Then we had these Valentine's characters, which I did go a little bit for Sistina, because Sistino is pretty dope. Then we had great googly moogly. Anyway, then we had Ascended Heart, right? So Heart came out. I did a few multis, but I wasn't really vibing with this character. I'm just like, he didn't seem insane to me, so I didn't go too crazy. Then we had, this would have been necessary. Spirit Gun? Oh, man. And you know what needs to come back? Yu Yu Hakusho. Make it so, GS, please. Please, for the love of Christ, bring it back. Oh, then we got this little crossover, this little known crossover, you know. And this one was, how long was this? Man, I felt like this crossover was like a month and a half. Yeah. I kind of remember this one. Yeah. So this one, Grand Crusade, you know, this is the roadmap, right? Grand Crusade came out, blah, blah, blah. So this one, you know, kind of like a month and a half, decent amount of time to farm up crystals, keep summoning, all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. Right. Wait, let's see. Oh, yeah. 2/14 to 4/10. Almost 2 months. So about 60 days, you know? So good amount of time, you know, not bad. Then you had Azel, which possibly skipped territory, right? Same with the Valentine's units that kind of came out. They weren't necessary, right? They're not just like must-haves or anything. They're just like nice to have nice additions to have. You know, even like luxury units, right? So it's, you know, Azel was whatever. I got Azel like first like multi or some shit like that. Wasn't anything crazy. Then you had Canaria. She came out. I did like maybe like 2 multis on that. Again, kind of another skip territory, I'll call that, because, you know, these GS exclusive characters, you know, you always got to think with these GS exclusive characters, with some exceptions like Jay, Roy, who's some other like gnarly characters. Well, like Emperor, you know, Emperor's definitely you know, I'll only do global here because we're still missing a few characters and whatnot. Not Heart, because again, I don't think Heart was like necessarily crazy. But like these I wish you could filter out like crossover units. Maybe you can on this, but not really. But anyway, yeah, like there wasn't too many like GS exclusive characters I felt like that were must summons, right? Then we got the Kenshin, right? So we did have a good amount of break, I will admit. You know, goddamn, I'm burping a lot, Jesus. But then we got in the Kenshin. Kenshin destroyed my anus, right? Wasn't pleasant, wasn't awesome, wasn't fun. We had is this Marlet, right? That's her name, right? Marlet. Which again, I mean, she does work really well with light units and whatnot. She's actually like pretty strong, but skippable, definitely skippable. I would say for this Valerie right here, you know, now we're in the current age. Valerie was probably one of the more hype characters to come out with an already stacked water team. So again, arguably skippable. But I guess like, I don't know, for me, like, I don't know, since I made content on this game, I summon on a good amount and everything. I'm just like, damn, dude, we're just keep getting hit with stuff. But honestly, now looking back on it, it wasn't all that bad. I mean, okay, so this kind of goes into the next thing coming up. So we have One Punch Man coming up. Somebody made a comment on me, announcing this. Let me try to find the comment. Okay, not me like announcing it, me just talking about it, coming out. Saw the tickets last up to a month. So after this collab, most likely index and most likely announce it in Anime Expo. So if you guys didn't know, on the JP side right now, a certain magical, certain magical index has come out, and there's 2 parts to it that are coming out. So with the Saitama or the One Punch Man coming, and there only being one character, if they go immediately into this, that could be a little rough for a lot of people. Like, I don't feel great about that. I kind of hope it doesn't. Like, they have one of the other GS kind of exclusive characters going in there, because GS exclusive characters, I feel like, yeah, again, far and in between. I've been recording over an hour now. Are kind of essential. Like there's some, Roy J. There's a few characters, Emperor, who, well, I don't know. Human Pinnacle Emperor, I don't know. I feel like OG Emperor had a way bigger impact in the game than Human Pinnacle Emperor did. I mean, I know the state of the game changed a little bit, but yeah, I don't feel great about Human Pinnacle. Anyway, so that rant I was talking about initially was going to be like, man, they gotta slow the frick down with these summons and stuff like that. Give us some content. Bring out the mines more. We're probably not going to see the mines, and no shit, like, hopefully before the end of this year. I hope it comes back, please. Like, They should have something where it's just like they rotate these game modes, and it could be like once a quarter, right? Grand Crusade is out permanently, which I didn't know at the time. I thought it was going away, you know, come back whenever. But Grand Crusade is out. That could keep people like a little busy if they're into that mode. But you got the mines, you got raids, like what else actually? What other game modes are there? I must be missing a game mode because there's no way like mines and not that the mines necessarily is fun. It's just like for some people it's just bragging rights how far you could get. And then raids, you know, people just farm the shit out of raids for, again, I guess bragging rights. But even just like, man, have them out for like 2 weeks at a time, once a month. Say, Mines comes out, right? And then like even have like a little bit of a break in between them. Mines comes out, then raids come out, and then, you know, Mines comes out, grades come out, or something like that, man. Because it's like, or even like new just one-off fights. Because I don't know when's like the last time like a new boss came out that really shook up the game. I don't know. I feel like things have been kind of boring in that front too. I don't know, guys. I'm just sitting here like staring down on my desk, just waving my hands around, just ranting and stuff. I'm gonna upload this thing. I'm probably not gonna edit it a whole lot because this is just like One Punch Man is coming to go, like the rundown of the One Punch Man collab, and you know, RANT. It's gonna be like the title. And while I looked for something, it's just that I feel like GS has a hard time differentiating like banners and summons is not content. For some people, it's 2 summons and they're done or something like that. 1 summon and they're done. It's just like they don't have anything else new to do, which, you know, if you're trying to run kind of like a live service gacha game, you know, where's the enticing people to summon and whatnot? You know, where's the events? Where's the events that these new characters excel in, you know? Okay, I really tried to find where it's saying that these characters are 140 luck. I'm pretty sure I'm not talking on my ass in that front, but in case I am, I mean, they're already 120 luck. What's 140? Oh my God, you know, 140 is so much better, right? I mean, it's kind of whatever at this point. But anyway, bastards, I'm sorry that this video is like insanely long and ranty, and I lost the plot within the video a little bit. But I don't know, man. I was just in a complaining, nitpicky mood, I guess. So while you guys were playing some other games or whatever, have this in the background. Hopefully I'm not too distracting with my, let me just close that. Sorry, that was my surf shark. With other, you know, doing whatever you guys are doing. But anyway, bastards, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.